Josh Green here for Tungsten Tales. Delighted to be joined by Ben Robb, all the way from New Zealand, but now in Tottenham, ready for the World Championships. How are we doing, Ben?
Yeah, good, bro. Pretty cold here, though, to be honest.
Mate, you got to get used to it. It's not going to get any better. Trust me.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad for this winter anyway.
Yeah, it certainly is already. We're just 3 days away now from the World Championship as we're speaking. You are on opening night. In fact, the opening game against Mickey Mansell. What was it all like when it came out the draw and the schedule was revealed that you were opening the show?
Yeah, pretty much when I heard Peter Wright's name and then me and Mickey's, I knew straight away that no matter what the schedule was, I was first night, first game, 2 games, 1 night. So, yeah, could have been worse. You know what I mean? There are some real informed players in that first bracket, that first part of the bracket. So, yeah, looking forward to playing Mickey. Last time we had a Kiwi here, Hope he put him away, with 3 sets to nothing. So, yeah, it's a bit of motivation on the side there as well. So, but no, looking forward to it 100%.
You've been in this position a couple of times now with the World Championships and being up on that stage. How's the feeling now, and has it sort of changed from the other times you've been over here?
Yeah. The first time was more of like a haze, I guess. It was just unreal to, when you play darts, that you dream of playing at the World Champs. And so maybe I was a bit, taken by the moment instead of trying to prepare my best. And last time I was here, COVID was going on, and that was quite tough with all the restrictions with preparation-wise, especially back home. We were still full lockdown when I came over here. So, yeah, the preparation side of things weren't the best. And this time around, I feel just way more rounded, way more prepared. I was fortunate enough to play in the Modus Super Series last week, so I couldn't ask for better preparation. So I feel like this time around probably see the best of me on the world stage so far.
I was going to talk about going over and playing the Modus League. It's been good for a lot of players over the years, but going into a World Championship and getting that competitive action against players that are going to push you, there's no really better way to prepare, is there?
Yeah, and when they messaged me and asked me if I'd want to play, and I looked at what they had done in the past, and it was like a no-brainer. Really, it was like what an amazing opportunity. And then the players that showed up was just class. It was every game was competitive. Every mistake was punished, and you had to be consistent or you wouldn't win. And I, on that game against Peter Jacques, just turned it off, and he just jumped all over it and smoked me, really. But yeah, I was so stoked to be a part of that, and I learned a bunch about preparation too.
You had a nice couple of battles with Raymond Smith as well. We saw last year in the World Championship, made the last 16 out of nowhere. People weren't really expecting that. Do you think he's going to be a big danger this year, even though people might be expecting a bit more from him?
Oh, he's one guy who doesn't listen to outside noise, and whenever he's on the oche, he's always dangerous, Ray. He's always going to punish your mistakes. It's whether his scoring comes up. I feel like with his game, he didn't really score to the ability that I've seen him play in the past. So definitely his finishing was a cut above. But if he brings his scoring with that finishing, I mean, there's no reason why he can't get back to where he was last year. He's definitely like the talent.
Let's talk a bit more about you. Obviously, we mentioned Mickey Mansell in the opening round, but the potential of facing the current world champion and 2-time world champion in Peter Wright on that opening night as well. Now, Peter's obviously, we know he's had a few personal issues more recently. His game hasn't been quite where he would want it to be. Do you think there's opportunities if you were to get past Mickey to run Peter close and possibly beat him?
Yeah, saying there's been a lot said about Peter's kind of journey into this world champs, but he's Peter Wright, he's 2-time world champion. He's been through so much in darts. I mean, if I'm going to rely on outside factors to affect his game, then I'm already lost the game. I've got to be in there trying to be at my best, bringing my best game, because my best game can compete with Pete's. And even though I've never shown it, people back home know what I can do. So as soon as if all gears click at the right time, I don't think I need to rely on him to be under par to win that game. So, but obviously Mickey first. I think Mickey will be thinking the same too.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got to get past the first game. It's gonna be a tough game. You're not a professional dart player if you don't know how to play dart. So if you look past him, mate, I'm just going to lose anyway. So one game at a time. Obviously, 2 games in one night will be tough, but yeah, mate, it's a game of darts, and things could be a lot harder than that.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've drawn the short straw a little bit, getting those 2 games in one night? There's fortunately 2 of the 96 players have got to do it, haven't they?
Yeah, that's it, bro. And the best part is traveling so far. I know where I stand after day one. I don't have to hang about or whatever. I can maybe look at going home early if I need to, or make it in time for Christmas, which if I was playing later on and then things kind of crossed over, it'd be quite hard. Traveling so far is pretty difficult. So yeah, in one sense. But back home, we're used to playing long days, preparing for long days of competitions, competitive darts. So I'm not used to, I'm used to playing consistent games over a long day. So I'm not afraid of that challenge. Probably suits me more than it would Pete, to be honest.
Yeah. Spoke to a few of the guys that have come over from the DPA and the DPNZ over the last couple of weeks or so, and they've all said that the growth over there over the last year, 18 months even, has been fantastic, and we're seeing more and more players be competitive over here at the World Championship. Would you echo those sentiments?
Oh, 100%. I haven't really seen Australia lately, but I think 2 years ago before COVID, I was doing the DPA tour, and you could just see a whole bunch of names that probably have been put on hold due to COVID, not really showing their talent. But back home, we've got a bunch of guys coming through, that new faces that people won't really know. But for the boys back home, super competitive, hitting high 90 averages on the and being consistent in high 90s, and it's just going to make everyone's games better. And with the World Series, it really brought the professional scene to our home, and it's really just given people a pathway. So that's why the game's just growing so quick, because it just becomes more and more opportunities for players to compete.
Yeah, that's the next point I was going to make, actually. With the World Series, do you think we're sort of finally starting to see the product of that? It's been over there for some years now, but the players that were watching it at first when it came over, they're now playing and picking up darts and able to compete with those sort of players.
Yeah, 100%. And I would never have gotten into darts if it wasn't for the World Series. When I found out the process of how to become a part of that show, was quite achievable, and it's a sport at its purest form. I think if you get results and you perform, the opportunities come. Whereas I played basketball back home, and some sports there's an element of who you know, not how good you are, but for you to get opportunities, it's almost who you know to get you in the right conversations with the right people at the right time. Whereas with darts, if you perform and you get results, and no one can argue that, it just comes with it. So that's what I love about darts. And the World Series has been a massive thing for New Zealand darts, and I feel like in the next 5 years we'll see a whole lot more competitive guys come through.
Yeah, and there's not just the clear pathway in terms of playing in sort of the DPNZ or the DPA tour. There's the clear pathway in terms of coming over here if you want to. I mean, Damon Hetter's been a prime example of that. Simon Whitlock, of course, from many years ago. The opportunities are there. It's a risk, obviously, for you guys, but the chance is there.
Yeah, and like guys like Damon, Gigi, guys coming over getting their tour card, and those are the guys that we compete with back home. So, and then you can compare your game. That's a major factor for my belief in the game. Is I used to play Damon Hetter once a month for a whole year, and we had good battles, and I beat him, and he beat me, and we competed well. And then I see him come over here and compete and perform the way he has. Kind of gives you hope that, well, if he can do it, and I've competed with him, obviously his game's lifted from being over here, but we have similar kind of styles and the way we play. So yeah, it's awesome to watch guys come over, risk it, and reap the rewards.
Does it make you think that maybe one day, you've said off camera, it's probably not quite now, but one day you could come over here and give the Pro Tour a crack?
Yeah. I wouldn't put this much effort and time and money into something I didn't think I could achieve at the highest level. I always want to be competitive. I don't want to just be stagnant in a certain level. I want to be you know, my name in the lights type of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but that's why you do it. And I wouldn't do all of this if I didn't think the potential was there to become a professional dart player. It's just a matter of when that happens. So yeah, it's just home life, work life balance. All these things are a big factor for a guy that lives at the bottom of the world. You know what I mean? So it is tough, but no, I have the ambition to come over here at some point.
You talk about getting your name up in lights. I don't think there's many other things that would put your name up in lights than beating the world champion on Thursday.
100%, mate. That's it. Like, some people back home have been like, "Oh, you got Peter Wright," and I was like I just said, you know, if I have these goals, there's no bigger way to get your name in the headlines than to knock out the former world champion, or the current world champion, sorry, in the first round of the world champs. I mean, that'd be like a dream, bro. And then maybe run from that. You know, you never know what could happen after that.
Certainly don't. Well, we look forward to seeing you play on Thursday against Mickey, and then fingers crossed against Peter as well. We'll be down there every day, and we hope to see you on Thursday night, Ben.
Champion. Thanks for having me on, bro. Appreciate it.